Hello Grand Archive players, let's answer a rules question. How does Orb of Sealing work? Specifically, we'll be focusing on this phrase. What does it mean for a card to be face down in banishment? Think of the game itself as an entity that can see and read information on cards. It can read anything that's currently face up or revealed, and can identify the characteristics of those cards such as its element, cost, name, stats, etc. However, face down cards have no readable properties, and the game won't know anything about it except its own and the fact that it's a card, even if its front was previously revealed. Basically, the game has no memories and no object permanence. So what does that mean for Orb of Sealing and what it can do? For example, it can reduce the number of arcane cards in Rai Stormseer's banishment, reducing its level. It can reduce the number of cards named Cosmic Bolt in Arasana's banishment. It can reduce the number of slimes for a Storm Slime's on-enter effect. And it can even prevent slime allies from entering the field from a Slime King's banishment when it leaves the field. So what is Orb of Sealing not able to do, besides target Regalia? If a card is in banishment due to being suppressed, turning those cards face down won't prevent them from being returned at the end phase. Suppress is an instruction to return the suppressed card to the field, regardless of what that card is. The game doesn't need to know anything about the front face of that card. By the same logic, an effect like Chilling Touch also isn't affected by turning the banished card face down. Another thing that turning a card face down won't do is prevent a player from playing that card if they have specific permission to play it, such as 3 visits or Shattering Discharge with a charge counter. You may ask, if the card loses its characteristics when turned face down, how come they can still be played? That's because permission to play a card isn't a characteristic of the card. It's an effect that acts on the card that says you can play this, whatever it is, as long as you can still pay the costs. Think of it this way. There are cards you have permission to play from hidden zones, such as Mercenary Dagger from the Material deck and Stifling Trap from memory, but the game doesn't know anything about these cards until you try to play them. Cards in your hand are private information, but you have blanket permission to play those even though no other players nor the game itself know what those cards are. A card doesn't need to be face up for you to be allowed to play it. Compare these play permissions to cards like Naya, Diviner of Fortunes, which specifies that the card she banishes can be played only if it's a spell. So, unlike the previous examples, you wouldn't be able to play that card if it was turned face down. Be sure to look closely at the wording of cards like Clockwork Music Box or Coronal of Rejuvenation. They have restrictions on what cards they're able to banish, but no restrictions on what cards you can play using their effects after those cards have been banished. Orb of Sealing won't be able to prevent playing cards banished by these effects. Now, let's talk about double face cards. When a double face card in banishment is turned face down, its backside doesn't become face up, even though it's normally what you would do in the physical game. If a double face card is instructed to be turned face down, it will become a face down card with no properties, just like a single face card would. In that sense, it's like these cards have 3 faces: the front face, the back face, and face down, like as if it was in the hand or deck. On a final note, I haven't really talked about how Orb of Sealing functions specifically in gameplay. It's worth keeping in mind that because of the way the card works, if there's another Orb of Sealing on the field, causing either orb to leave play would cause all cards that were turned face down by any orb back face up, even if it wasn't by that specific orb. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.